Hello ladies and gents, welcome back your lovely faces to a brand new video. Today we're going to be talking about something we haven't really talked about in a long time. I think it's like 3 years, maybe even 4 on this channel. And that is comic books. And with that, for me, because I wanted to talk about this because Mark Millar is one of my favorite writers. Ever since, he did his Spider-Man and Civil War run and everything else, I've just loved him. Kick-Ass, one of my favorite comics. Kick-Ass 2, not so much, but I still liked it. Nemesis, Wanted, KINGSMAN. There's just so many out there that the guy has done, and it's absolutely amazing to see that he is sticking up for people who have a difference of opinion to the people who want to cancel others. And those people have now been called cancel pigs, which I think is actually quite of a funny term for it. So, Mark Millar takes a stand against cancel pigs, calls on creators and fans to never ever appease or encourage their cruelties. In taking a stand against the ever-growing wave of cancel culture that currently overwhelms the world of comic books, veteran industry writer Mark Millar has officially taken to calling out the self-serving and dishonest behaviour of the many fans and writers. That is one of the key points as well. You've got the writers of these comic books for Marvel and everything else. They're the ones who want to get all these people who have a different of opinion to them literally have their lives ruined. To me, that is just a bully and someone who more than likely got bullied in school. Because, again, they've probably now grown up, I can dictate what I can do. A bit like how we see this in a lot of movies, like this is their villain origin and all this kind of stuff. Who would ruin another's career over the slightest, and often made up, which is very true as well, socio-political infractions, or as they have recently been termed, cancel pigs. The Civil War's stand against the cancel-happy elements of his industry first began on December 6th, following his hosting of the Comic Palace store owner Glenn O'Leary on his personal Miller Time podcast to discuss the latter's recent attacking by numerous comic book professionals over his opinion that writers nowadays, they don't care about who or what the character is anymore. Most of these new writers don't have a love of comics like these older writers had. All they care about is, how do I put myself in the book? And with that part by there, that is very, very true. And sadly, it's not just for comics this day and age. You're now seeing it in TV shows and movies of franchises, where you're getting people who are writing these things, they don't even like the character. We even had the person who was doing a new Star Wars TV show say she hates Star Wars. So why are you writing a Star Wars movie then? It's that sort of thing. Which, it makes a lot of people who love the franchises that these people are getting the jobs in, and they're like, well, that's not Star Wars, that's not Marvel, that's not Batman, DC, that's not this character. But then, the people who are writing it, they come out and then they start attacking these people. And I want to bring something up by here before we do get into this. What I'm about to show you is an actual cover to a comic book that was released by Marvel. That is shit. That is absolutely just, that's abysmal. Why did the editor allow that to go out? That literally looks like someone who is okay, they're okay at art, and they're gradually going to get better. But you can't put that out. People are going to look at that, and rightfully so, like you got by here. You got Jim Rowley, who is a comic book artist and everything else. For clarity, I did not draw this cover, the artist got paid. This is Marvel's quality, yet I bust my f***ing ass to be told, I'm just not good enough. F Marvel. Read your own How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way book. I'd be embarrassed to submit this on my worst day. And I've just realised you haven't seen that by there, so I will just, boop, by there. That's what it is, that's what we're talking about by there. But it's very, very true. And as you go down, he does state, the cover isn't bad because the artist is bad. The cover is bad because an editor didn't make him go back and redo it. Standards matter, which is what they do. And when you see things like that, it's like, this is what they're passing now as good artwork. So what I'm going to show you as well now, so just as we are going into this, because obviously that there is absolutely dreadful. This by here. This is absolutely dreadful. You know, it's absolutely disgusting that an editor allowed that to go out. But look at that. Look at that cover there. That is an amazing cover. And again, if you go in, even when you go back to the very, very first edition of Amazing Fantasy 15, that cover is absolutely amazing. That there is better than that, and that was done in the 60s. I got another one by here. It's from DC. Batman 89. That is a fabulous cover. And again, when you go into it, it does show you all the covers that was, or they were, thinking of using. Look at these covers. These covers are brilliant. And then you have ones like that one by there, which this one gets put out, but then you have these as alternate covers. You know, this is why quality and actual standards exist. And, you know, they've put these out, and these are the people who are having a go at other people who are more successful than them, by the way. It's just a shocker to see, you know? But obviously, sharing his interview with O'Leary to his personal Twitter account, Millar was met with a number of replies, some positive, some negative, obviously so, and the people who started actually coming into his tweets. You got by here, you got Ethan Van Shiver, Cyberfrog creator. He actually praised Mark Millar with terrific job, Mark. Thank you. And he carried it on with, I feel like you might be the only one who can destroy this evil. That's what it is. It's killing comics. I'll get more eyes on this interview right now. Mark Millar just replied with, cheers, bud. With that by there, what's wrong with those tweets? Absolutely nothing. But guess what, though? Because obviously he just replied to EVS, you had all of these people now coming in. Someone just asked, what is it, what are people like actually doing on here slagging Mark Millar off for? And this Joe Glass guy, getting friendly with Comicsgate. The latest is a fairly friendly response. See, they even say fairly friendly. Also highlighted and defended that comics retailer who basically said comics are dying because people are adding diverse elements to existing characters. No, that is not what he said. But again, no, they want to twist these words to suit their narrative, which is what we've seen so many times with so many things this day and age, where for some unknown reason, these type of people, they just want to get their grubby little claws into everything, and if they don't like it, they want to change it, or they're going to cause and scream bloody murder. Why? You know? And like I said, a lot of these people don't even like what they're doing, and they probably just thought, oh, I'll do this, it's easy. But again, no, it's not, because we have seen over the last couple of years so many comic book stores shut down. That is because they can't sell what is being given to them or what they're ordering from the actual publishers. This is the problem, and they don't see it like that. They're just like, well, people just, my book's selling great, people just don't like it because whatever, X, Y, or Z, or whatever ism is fashionable that week, that's why. And with Glenn, the guy the comic book owner, so many people were taking the mick out of him, they were making fun of him, and they don't seem to remember that this guy's probably been selling comics longer than they've been alive. Because a lot of these people who are doing this, mid-20s or whatever, and it's like, you have no idea what has gone on in the past, Look back to, the golden age of comics and everything else, the 80s and the 90s, the comic book boom was huge. These people now who are writing these rubbish stories, they can only hope of actually selling 3 million copies for one single comic. Doesn't even happen anymore. But it does go on as well. Obviously, a lot of people now, obviously, with Mark Millar, they're not saying his full name now because they're giving him the full Voldemort reaction and everything else. And like this guy by here, 711 views. And these are people as well who, actually write comics for the big companies, But then, ladies and gentlemen, look who it is. Someone who hasn't been on this channel in about 3 years, maybe 4 years. The infamous Renfamous, who, as I say by here, noted industry influencer. Yes, she's a noted influencer because she is paid by a PR company to go out and basically attack people. That's exactly what she is. And obviously, because of EVS, she hates EVS. She hates everyone, to be honest with you. She probably hates her own parents. And it goes on, and, you know, she's put a little thread together. You say one thing, but this is what it becomes. Right, with that by there, with this tweet, I actually find it absolutely hilarious. Just that bottom part there. You say one thing, but this is what it becomes. Renfamous has done that for the majority of her online career. She makes a little thing, she says one thing, because she knows how people who follow her, people who, oh, yes, Renfamous, go, you blue-haired girl, yeah, go. With this, she knows how they're going to react. That's why she says it. And her saying this is like, everyone knows what you do. But it's sad to see that someone who has a difference of opinion, and again, just because it doesn't match yours, people start to attack him. And again, you know, they tried to make Glenn out to be a racist and all this kind of stuff, and it's like, no, he actually says he likes Miles Morales. You know, he likes certain characters. And a couple of years ago, you had a couple of retailers who stood up and told writers, artists, and all this kind of stuff that these books do not sell. People do not want to buy them. And for the next year, those creators, the writers, and everything else, for one entire year, made those two shop owners, they made their lives hell. They called them every single ism under the sun for an entire year, just because they actually stood up against them. That's what they don't like. And now that they got Mark Millar, who is, again, one of the biggest people in comics, because, again, you got people saying, oh, I hope no artist goes with him. Do you know the majority of actual good artists, not the ones who put out that shitty little, you know, not this shit, because Mark Millar would be like, yeah, I don't want anything like that anywhere near my stuff. But with this, he actually gives the majority of all the money to the artists, because Mark has said himself, when he sold Miller World and everything else, he made millions. And with that, he's like, I write comics because I love writing them as a hobby. And he gives the majority of the money to the artists. That's why the artists will continue to work for Mark Millar. But that's what we got, guys. Let me know what you think of this down below. And do you want me to continue doing this as well? Me over doing the reporting on comics and everything else? Get back to the nitty-gritty roots? Let me know, and I'll see you all soon.